What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another customization video. Today we're going to be working on a Bandai Namco figure, Nappa. We're going to be adding a Blackwash to him, so stick around. Okay, so obviously we're going to be needing a few things, and Nappa is one of them. My brush kit, some gloves, a towel or rag, preferably one that doesn't leave little bits around, some Blackwash. This is the kind I've been using for a little while now and it's never failed me yet. And a little piece of plastic to put the Blackwash in. I use little bits and pieces of the packaging that I unboxed. This is actually really perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and get the toolkit open. This was given to me for Christmas. It's a great little homemade leather case here. You can hold all of your brushes and knives, all kinds of little paints, all kinds of stuff in there. This is what I use to lay pretty much all of my stuff on. It holds everything I need pretty much. It's a great little base. You know, can't worry about messing it up. It's nice leather. So what we do here is we go ahead and take the Blackwash. What I'm going to probably do first is just give the figure a little brushing, just so it gets all of the little hairs, just so there's nothing stuck on there, because once you start painting the figure, anything that's on there is going to be stuck on there. If you have like a can of air or something like that, take it and give it a a good blowout so it gets all the little hairs, all the little stuff on there. If you see any quite obvious fingerprints, that's not one, that's in the plastic itself. So if you see any obvious fingerprints, I would go ahead and rub those off. Any dirt, because once you start putting the Blackwash on there, anything is going to be stuck to the figure itself. So just give your Blackwash a little shake. And we use this plastic here, make sure it doesn't drip out everywhere, and just kind of put a little bit in there. We're probably going to be using a little bit because we're going to be giving most of the figure a Blackwash, so you can keep refilling it, but you definitely don't want to fill it up all the way to the top just to avoid any spillage or tippage over. That one's pretty stable, but I would definitely test out your surface before you let it sit. Okay, so definitely when you're blackwashing, you want to take one section at a time. So if you're going to be doing a whole figure, in my opinion, I definitely start at the bottom and take it up to the top. So you want to take one leg at a time. So just get some on your brush there, and you can kind of just dab it on the side there, and just start letting it have it. Just paint every part of this one leg that you're using. If it's, you're starting with the arms, working your way down, it doesn't matter. To me, I like starting in one direction and definitely working my way up. So getting all of those grooves there in the boots, definitely important, because that's where the Blackwash really, really shines. Get up underneath of the armor there. So his legs and limbs are very, very loose. That's something that's a problem with some of these Dragon Ball Z figures. This may tend to help some of that, but it's not going to be a fix-all because you're not getting all the way up in those limbs. So just make sure that you're getting the whole leg there and get it all nice and even. So once you're finished up, that's what it's going to look like there. I know that looks ridiculous right off the bat, but that's what we have this little rag for. So once it's sat for just a minute, you're going to take the rag and just simply start wiping. So you're gonna get into those grooves there and wipe all of it off. Not wiping too hard. You want to let some of it sit there, but you're not gonna make it look dirty. It just has to be kind of stained looking. You can kind of see there on the bottom of the boot how it kind of filled in some of those grooves. The leg is definitely a darker shade, as you can see. It kind of doesn't do what you're thinking it's going to do. It's going to take some of that sheen away. You can definitely see this leg is definitely a lot lighter than that leg. You can see the difference is big time there. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to turn it completely black. You can get a little bit down in those grooves there, but that's what this little towel is for, just to get around inside there and make sure that it's not like a dirty look, but you definitely want it to be a kind of a stained black. Very nice. So more times than not, you're going to have to go back and hit certain places with a second coat, and the shoes are definitely one of those places. Now this is where you're going to definitely start seeing a big time difference, is when you start applying that second coat. So I would be more generous, or actually I would be more liberal with your paint for that second coat, because it is going to show up a lot more and it's going to be a little harder to get off because that first coat gives a little bit of a stickiness until it's kind of dry there. But as you can see, once we get rubbing this off, you're going to really start to see the difference on the inside of those shoes. So as you can see, it's really starting to leave that black on the inside there. Very nice. As you can see on the untreated shoe, definitely a huge difference in the sheening. As you can see, it leaves little black streaks. Just tremendous. So this is what you want to be careful of when black washing. As you can see, you know, the very much accumulation there at the top. So if you just keep taking your rag and just keep rubbing it, you'll start seeing how it starts to even the skin tone out there and makes it just way more flat. You can definitely see a difference in the arms and the legs. See how it's more of a darker skin tone, more of a natural skin tone, not as plasticky looking. So that's what black washing really does. And you can start seeing the definition in the kneecaps there, just the little scars. It's just way more animation looking. You can bring out all the little details in the legs. It is just a tremendous process. And we're just working our way up. This is going to be the really fun part because you're going to really start seeing the difference, especially on this yellow armor bits. This is going to be the most fun. And so once you get a pretty good cut on that front part of the armor, I definitely wouldn't start the back part until you finish the part. You're just going to do the same process. Make sure you're not hitting those legs because that will darken them up pretty much once you've got that first coat on. So you're just going to start rubbing it off. See how it starts sticking in those little orifices there? Just outstanding. So you're just taking it and rubbing it. So just because it's way easier, I went ahead and just took everything apart so you can see the individual process there. So I went ahead and wiped everything down. Still a little bit shiny, but you can see how the black wash got into each individual groove there. Some of it looks better than others, so there's barely any groove back there. But as you can see, as it tapers down, you can see how the black wash got in there and just made it look outstanding. So the front of Nappa's armor is what's really impressed me the most. It may need just a little bit of rubbing there on the black because the black is the most tricky part. You don't want it to look like it's been kind of painted over there. But as you can see, the yellow really takes it just very well and fills in all the gaps. We're going to go ahead and move up to the shoulder armor here. This is going to be fantastic because the shoulder armor really does have some really deep grooves. So you're just going to want to take that and just pat each individual groove down. Make sure you get all in there so it takes the black wash just fantastically. Alright, so once everything is black washed up there, I would let it just sit for just a minute. I wouldn't let it sit too long because then you get a lot of streaks there that it's really hard to get off. And then you just start rubbing. I would definitely rub in the direction of the line so you work all of that black wash down in the grooves. Oh yeah, this is working out fantastically. So I definitely try not to hold where you've black washed too much because you can maybe work it off, but black wash does tend to stay in there pretty well. Alright, so once everything is rubbed off, as you can see, the black fills in those gaps and lines very well. The skin tone naturally takes a little bit of a darker tone. You can see the gaps and the muscles are defined way more, and everything is way more flattened out. And now we're going to work on the back. Same thing, you're just applying that same coat of black wash just all over the back. And after a minute, you just do the same process of taking the rag and just rubbing it all over the place. You're going to probably get some on that armor, but you can obviously just take the little towel and just rub it all away. Because black wash, when it dries, it's a little bit of a pain, and you may need a little bit of alcohol to maybe move it around to your own liking. You know, you're going to obviously see parts that you missed over, little things like that. But most times, rubbing it with a towel can just flatten things out. See how that black just kind of flattened out there? You can see a little bit of the paint streaks, but with a little bit of rubbing and a little bit of time, all of that really flattens out. But where it shines the most is here on the yellow. You can see where it filled in the streaks. See a little bit there. Just take your fingernail and work it back in until that pretty much just disappears and you're left with kind of just a black line like that. Just fantastic. Just a little bit of a dirt accumulation maybe, or just, you know, carbon scoring work over the years, whatever it may be. It adds a little bit of texture to the figure and evens out skin tone magnificently. So I went ahead and gave the arm a different, a little coat there. It's the same process over and over again, so it kind of keeps showing. It would kind of get repetitive, but you kind of know the process by now. So the face can be a little bit of a pain. You're definitely going to want to take extra care when you're doing it. I'm not going to be touching the scatter at all. That definitely doesn't need to be painted. And there we have it. I actually broke Nappa's hand off because everything on this figure is quite loose, so I would be very careful in disassembling and assembling this figure. That's why I don't tend to change the figure's hands out, especially on this one. But the Blackwash came together very nicely. You can definitely see the detail in the knees is brought out very well. The armor is my favorite part. It looks absolutely magnificent. The hands is a really easy fix. That's why I'm not worried about it. The back looks magnificent. The figure turned out just fantastic. All right, and there we have it. Make sure and let it dry very, very long, or an actual, you can let it dry for a couple hours before you go ahead and start handling and posing this thing, and make sure and get your broken parts fixed up before you put it back in your collection. So just a great action figure overall, even though it's kind of broken in pieces now, but that's okay. A great blackening up here, just a great looking process here. Very easy to do. You can do it yourself at home with just a little bit of black washing. You find that on Amazon, a few paintbrushes and a little bit of patience, and you yourself can blackwash. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Make sure and smash the like and subscribe button here on YouTube. It really, really helps. Share the video with your friends. Turn notification bells on, whatever you got to do. Thank you guys so much.